Hey everyone out there, y'all already know who it is, so I have something I wanted to go over about years later since Mother's Day is here, and then Father's Day is around the corner, and I love my mom. Been helping her out, but at the very least, I wanted to discuss Father's Day and the years later and aftermath of everything and the fallout that's basically presented itself. And for my dad, who has refused to talk to me based on things I have told him and what's going on right now in my life, as far as I've realized that ever since his mom's funeral, his immaturity that he showed, then it really speaks volumes to the kind of person he is. And I've gotten multiple angles on this from different people, and especially my best friend Jason, who has said to me that if he really wanted to make things right again, if his part to play in this is pretty big. Again, marking it as I'm not innocent, but I know a lot of people who are really goody two shoes would say that, oh, he's your dad, you need to honor him and blah blah blah. Like, what kind of Christian are you if you don't? I don't really care about that personally, because he's created so much of a void. And I've talked to my DSP, and she always tells me that, you got to remember, people ain't shit. And, my dad is not shit to me, because the more I go through life's challenges, the more I realize that he was just a force standing in my way from living my true potential, basically. And the more I realize his nonsense, the more I realize, yeah, I'm semi independent, but personally, my independence is the best gift I could have gotten out of dealing with him. And the fact that he doesn't realize my life will move on with or without him. He can realize it now or wait till he's on his deathbed, but he realizes that the more he continues this, the more I just don't want to hear from him. I could care less about hearing from him personally. I've literally told him everything he needs to know, my terms and conditions about coming back into his life. I've told him now that I have my independence. I could easily take the buses to come see him. The fact that he decides he wants to say, oh, well, it's all about my gas money, my blah, 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 blah. And the fact that he's all whatever, butthurt, jealous about the fact that I have my place, it just shows the ego that he has, the literal man childness he has. And I send this message out there for anyone dealing with father issues, basically, that's been through any of this. It's not really a rant, but it is more or less to prove that a lot of people have them. My best friend Jason is finally talking to his dad again, I guess. But whether or not me and my bio dad are ever going to talk again, that really leaves a lot to wonder. But the years later and the falling out this has created, and if he sees this, this is a message that you need to just realize, where if my dad were to see this, you need to realize where you've really done wrong, basically. The fact that you've let politics divide you and me and all that nonsense, and the fact that my friend Don had to block you on Facebook because of what you said to his friend about making changes to your bike trails and stuff. I've heard so much about my dad and his nonsense and all that, and the fact that his sister still won't talk to me really shows me she's basically wants to take his side. And that's all it is the fact that I talked to my buddy Steve about it, and he just says that a lot of that is just like what Sharon's ex said. Once that side of the family cuts you off, unfortunately, that's pretty much it. Sharon has proven her worth on things, and the fact that she is making this happen, and the fact that my dad decides he just doesn't want to play ball, it's hardening my heart against him personally. And he really isn't innocent. He really is, to me, very scummy doing what he's done. And the fact, when I was in the car with my friend Jason, and we were on the way back from Rambo. And the fact that my dad's like, well, your mom's going to have to start meeting me halfway on this. I asked you not to move out here. Like, ask me. Like, it was really your freaking decision based on all this. And the fact that you want that completely ridiculous on your gas money and all that to come see your son. Well, I've already told him I will walk right out on you if you start any of your nonsense up. I'll have a way and a means to do it. And it just doesn't seem like this phases him. The fact that I could come see him easily. I could easily come see him whenever he wanted. But the fact that the last few years that I've gained my independence despite my shortcomings, it really shows everything that in the book about him and the influence he's been, and the fact that I wasted about over 20 plus years of my energy on him. The fact that I wasted all, in fact, I probably wasted 30 years of energy on him and all his nonsense that I had to go through. And the fact that he's still a negative energy, that I feel like he's just a waste of time. With him, I feel like really it's best I look in the rearview mirror, keep moving forward. But if anyone can find solace in this message, is to say that family issues are there. I still have issues every now and then with some people, but I try to look past it. With my dad, there's too much I can't look past, period. And I had terms and conditions. I've told him what he needs to know. I've gotten on my soapbox. He doesn't seem to care. And I guess this also kind of came back to me in a dream where I was literally in my dad's house as a ghost, and I could overhear him talking on the phone to people about me. And I felt like this dream happened. It was a very lucid dream that I had where I felt like I was a ghost in his house and he was talking on the phone. And I could just tell that he was acting like the same person he'd always been like. And maybe that dream was just a sign from God that he ain't going to change, period. And he's not going to. And it's all but to tell that everything is there. And the more angles I get from this, the more people I talk to, it's just a harsh realization of the same thing, that he isn't going to. And I feel like the fact that his sister Sharon supports taking his side shows that she doesn't care about who's what. But to my dad, I feel like you are a very egotistical man child. The fact that you feel like you have to, you know, not apologize, not swallow your pride, do all this. The fact that you act this way and continue to do so. As I said, the more you keep on doing this, the more you drive a wedge, the more you decide to keep changing people, changing friend groups, doing whatever you're doing. You're going to spend your life running from your issues. By the time it's going to be that you're going to want to fix everything, if you ever decide to fix everything, by the time you keep dividing this wedge between us, the more I talk to people about it, the more, I've heard. And my friend Sherry can sugarcoat it all she wants, that, oh, Sharon just doesn't want to get in the middle of it, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, she can sugarcoat it all she wants, but realizing that Sharon just wants to be stubborn about it. And, it's so much the fact that his side of the family, where the only thing feeling like that a funeral is the only thing that feasibly brings them together, it is sad. And the fact that my dad wants to talk about his gas money and all this, it is extremely pathetic. Like, it just shows what a pathetic excuse for a father he is, ever since he left my baby carrier and my mom on the side of the road when I was a toddler. It shows everything about him, that he has been like this from the first day one, where my parents divorced at 10. It just shows that everything in the book that has been all along, and it shows what a person you are. Shows your clout, shows your character, shows everything. And you're just projecting, you're a hypocrite. Everything in the book that I hate. So again, as I say, when I wake up, I just try to remind myself not to become like him and be like him. And I take care of my mom. I take care of her because I know she's got MS and I'm taking care of her. But for my dad, he's gonna grow old. He's gonna grow old one day, and he's not gonna have me around to deal with it. So again, this is kind of sink or swim. But now at a point where he needs to realize if he wanted to make things right, he would have done it by now. And as Father's Day comes around again, probably next month, but this is just me getting the rest of my feelings about it off my chest. And, I don't know. It's just to say the least that he really, I don't know. He ever has an epiphany or whatever, wants to talk, then that's on him. But the older I get, the more challenges I got to deal with, the more stuff I got to go through without him being absent. With, you know, he just, he needs to realize how much time, energy I've wasted. And, yeah, there were good times, there were good things that he did, but now that he's acted the way he has, now that I moved out and has cut me off, like, that makes all the good things you've done in the past, that overshadows it. That negates all the good stuff you did in the past. It has negated that completely. And that you've shown me your true colors now that I moved out, now that you've cut me off, now that you've done all this you've done. Like, it negates all the good stuff you've done in the past, brother. So, you're stirring up bad blood by doing this. And by all my friends, by all the camps that I've talked to about you, from day one when I talked to Jason the night of, when I told him all about how you were as a person, when I told Jason that this is probably going to be shocking. And I told him from the day one night of that my dad really is this kind of person. And I pointed out all this stuff, broke it down for him. And yeah, I mean, the thing is, Jason stayed with me the first few nights when I moved out. The fact that he literally sat there, did nothing, acted the way he kept acting. And again, I moved on, and the more I realized he was a force that stood in my way from untapping, from being able to tap into my potential, then it really is what it is. And again, it shows everything I need to know. And the years later, this is just my message to everyone that no change, no change at all. That's all I got to say. It's just the Father's Day is a hard time for me, but I feel like putting out this message out there will make it easier to live through. And that's all I have to say. All right, guys. I will see y'all later. All right, bye-bye.